Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day here. Sun's out. All right, it's actually very overcast. A very overcast winter day here, but the guns are still out. Well, I'm wearing long sleeves, so the guns aren't out either. All right, it's a bad day for the channel, but welcome back to the channel. Slants out, plants out. What rhymes with plants?
I'm glad you're using my battery for this.
Your battery will be fine. Vines out, muscadines out.
Oh.
Vines out, muscadines out. No, that's not great.
Vines out, time's out, but that sounds sad.
It's too terrible.
Okay.
What rhyme would I use?
Not everything has to have a rhyme.
Okay. Guys doing something a little bit different today. Now, we do a lot of guns and shooting and hunting and that sort of thing, but that's not all we do on the channel, right? So pretty much whatever strikes my fancy, and I feel pretty fancy about this. When I go hunting in the fall, I often encounter what are called muscadines, and I don't know if you have them in your part of the world or in your part of the country. If you don't, I feel sorry for you because they're wonderful. I discovered them as a child. They grow wild around here, and they're essentially wild grapes. And they look a lot like grapes, although they don't grow in bunches so much like grapes. They have a really thick, leathery skin on them. You don't want to try to eat that part because you spend all day trying to chew that. You either put this thing in your mouth and squeeze it and squeeze out the innards and spit out the husk, or you just put it up your lips and squeeze out the husk with your fingers, or squeeze the innards out and hold the husk and throw that away. And then it's got 3 seeds in it, spit those out. But the fruit on the inside is absolutely delicious. It's wonderful. It's hard to describe. It's sort of like a grape. It's chewy and sweet and a little tart, and it's just got a terrific flavor. Absolutely, I've always adored muscadines. And I only know the variety that grows wild around here, which are sort of purple or black. They look like black grapes, essentially. I know that there are others. There are like white muscadines, which look like white grapes, which are actually green, but for some reason we call them white. Anyway, but we get these muscadines around here. I've always loved them. And in recent years, I've been thinking, well, wouldn't it be nice if I just had muscadines growing near my house and I could pick some whenever, so I have a reliable supply. I don't just have to stumble across them in the woods and hope for some growing wild. And well, we can make that happen, so we finally did. We planted these yesterday. All right, and we planted like 5 different varieties. I was just going to plant one, but then I said, you know what? If we're doing it, let's just do it. Let's go crazy. This one is Cowart, and I don't know the difference between one and another, really, but we're going to find out when they pop up. None of these are the white ones, are they?
Well, we have a light pinkish one.
Okay. So they won't be that green color for the most part, but they should be similar to the muscadines that I've known. That one is Cowart, and I went to school with a girl named Cowart, and I haven't heard from her in a long time, but I hope she's doing well. Always got along with her. This one is Scuppernong No. 2, is that right?
Something like that.
Something like that. We're not sure how to pronounce that. Over here we have, hold on, I got to look at my cheat sheet. Carlos. I'm not sure if that's the name of this particular plant or the variety. Don't know.
He looks the healthiest right now.
Yeah, he's got some green leaves on it. The other ones, I mean, we got some green leaves coming up here. It is early spring, so I wouldn't expect them to be, totally budded out yet. I looked into getting seeds online to plant these. That's one of the things that held me back. Finding seeds is a little bit difficult and they're expensive. And according to the reviews, a lot of people weren't able to get them to sprout at all. They wouldn't germinate. So, and you can order plants like this, but they are kind of expensive and people were giving sort of mixed reviews on them. But these were available at a local gardening center. And so I thought, let's give them a try. This one is Southland. Next one is Albemarle, which sounds very British. This one is Ozark
Mountain.
Ozark Mountain, and that one is also Ozark Mountain. So is one of these a male and female, is that right?
No, they're self-pollinating.
Okay, self-pollinating.
But I just bought 2 because I thought that's all we were going to plant.
Right, that was the plan originally. That's where we started. And so these are the ones most similar to the ones we get growing around here wild. And these are probably the ones that will bear the fruit that I like the best, although we'll see. And we got some green leaves coming up here, that's great. Yeah, we got these at the local gardening center yesterday, and these 2 were the day before. But anyway, over the last couple of days, over the weekend, and we planted them yesterday, and we got a little bit of rain this morning, which was great. Good timing on that. I sprinkled a little fertilizer in there, and we put up these T-posts. Be careful as I step over here. We put up T-posts, and we're going to stretch some kind of wire here so that they have, as they grow up and vine out, they have something to grow on, because that's what they like. Ordinarily, they'd be growing on like a tree, like on another plant. These small trees are going to be cut out. We don't want them competing for nutrients and things like that. Also, we don't want them to be shaded. They need, according to the instructions, they need lots of sunlight. Let me tell you, every time I've found muscadines growing wild, they've been in the shade. So I don't know what to tell you about that, but the instructions say they need lots of sunlight. So we're going to give them lots of sunlight and see what happens. But every time I find them in the wild, they're growing on another tree. The vines are growing up on other trees, and hence they're shaded because, you know, those trees shade them. But we're going to see what happens. I have high hopes, and still an ongoing project, but yeah, we're going to string up some wire, let them grow on the wires, and I don't know how many years it'll be before these things are bearing fruit. It could be next year. I doubt it'd be this year. It wouldn't be this fall, I don't think. But maybe in a year or two we'll have a little bit of fruit, and in the coming years we may get a lot of fruit. Try to follow the instructions on this because we've never grown muscadines before. Supposedly you should plant them at least 6 feet apart because they tend to sort of branch out. They tend to take up a lot of room. And certainly the plants that I've seen in the wild tend to get, I don't want to say bushy because they're not short like a bush, but viney. They vine out. They spread out. Yes, exactly. They spread out and they cover quite an area usually, which is great because that gives you more fruit. So we've got them about 6 feet or more apart, and they shouldn't be crowding each other. And all of these are self-pollinating except for one, which is the Scuppernong. And they told us that that one would self-pollinate. It's a female plant. I said, okay, does it need a male? And they said, well, it will self-pollinate, but you will get more fruit if you have other muscadines around it, and it can get pollen from them. So even these that are self-pollinating can provide pollen to the Scuppernong, and it will apparently bear more fruit. And it's got plants on either side of it. So no matter which way the wind's blowing, it'll get a little bit of, or which way the insects are moving, it'll get a little bit of pollen. So yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what happens, and I want to eat some fruit, and I'm hoping that I can beat the deer to them, because I'm sure the deer will take a keen interest in the birds. So hopefully they'll leave something for me. These things in the coming years, we have what? 7 of them? We got 7 of them, and they're going to branch out and spread out, and they should bear quite a lot of fruit. Surely the animals can't eat all of that. They'll leave some for us. Okay, they might not. And as they produce seeds, we should be able to germinate those and grow them in pots, and you know, in a year or two have something like this, and we can plant even more of them out here. And we may just have these things all over the stinking property. We'll make jelly, and we'll make wine, and we'll make smoothies.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well,
Fruit salad?
Of muscadines, and then we'll want to rip all of them up.
Raisins?
I don't know that muscadines make good raisins.
Well, we're going to find out.
Oh, no.
Anyway, so this is an experiment that BoomGuy, on which BoomGuy has embarked, and we don't know how it's going to go, but hopefully it'll go well. And yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully in the coming years we'll have lots of delicious fruit, because I absolutely love muscadines, and I don't get them very often. If I stumble across them in the woods, that's about the only time I get them. And it's been a few years since I haven't been hunting lately. Yeah. But even when I did go hunting frequently, I tend to go to the same spots over and over, and just didn't happen to encounter muscadines there. I know we were hiking some years ago, we found some, which was great. But we don't hike that trail very often. So yeah, I'm super excited to try all these different varieties and to have muscadines in my life pretty regularly again. Some of these will apparently bear fruit in the summer, and some of the muscadines, the ones with which I'm familiar, which would be, I guess, this Ozark variety, typically bear fruit in the fall, which is hunting season. You know, you go hunting, and you might find some muscadines. And persimmons, when I used to hunt with my grandfather, we'd find persimmons, and I always can find persimmons, but I don't care for persimmons. I don't like, they're too tart for me. I don't really care for them. Some people absolutely love them, and deer love them, but I've never been a persimmon fan, but I sure do love muscadines. Anyway, guys, Thanks for visiting my garden channel. We don't want to keep your soil dry.
No, you do not.
Keep your soil moist?
Well, if it's recommended to keep it moist, some plants need a well-drained soil.
Keep your plants well drained. Pants out, plants out. I don't know.